back here with Jessica at her house. It's the, I guess, couple days after we came and did the investigation and the clearing of her house. So, Jessica, since you've been back, how have things been? Have you noticed a difference?
So I actually haven't stayed here yet. I wanted to wait until I chatted with you to come stay at home. But yesterday when I got back home, I came into the house and I didn't get that uneasy feeling. So far, I think we're good. So
That's
hopefully tonight will be the first night that we stay. So hopefully everything will go good. I don't see why it wouldn't, because I don't get that weird feeling. So
Yeah, I don't either, and the gym didn't when we pulled up either. I think it's gone and it stayed gone, so that's a good thing. So I just want to confirm for our audience that when we met, we don't know each other at all.
Nope.
Never met.
Nope.
You didn't provide me with any names.
Nope.
Before I came in here.
Nope. The only names that I provided you was David and Charlie when I was chatting with you at the end.
At the end of the investigation.
Yes.
Yes, and they didn't come through.
They didn't? Okay.
So just to confirm for the audience that there was no names disclosed to me whatsoever, or any other information, any other information about your family history or anything else aside from what was in the interview.
Yeah, and all I called her was Nana, so.
Perfect. So I messaged you on Friday night and I asked you because when I left here, I had a female spirit who was kind of hanging off on the wings, you know, not really wanting to talk or interact, but she was watching. And the only thing she told me was her name, and her name was Eva. So I messaged Jessica just to find out if she knew that name, if that name was familiar to her. Because this was a very persistent spirit that wasn't going away. And initially, Jessica, you didn't know who it was, did you?
No. So I actually called around to some of my family, and I finally contacted my mom. And Eva is my Nana's mom.
Okay, well, there you go. And that's your Nana that you said passed away in March,
yeah?
Do you mind me asking what she died of?
Just
old age?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we aren't honestly 100% sure. She just started getting really sick.
Okay.
And it just, it started around Christmas, and it just slowly started, that's what took her, so.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking is Taya had asked at one point to the spirit in the room, what are you afraid of? And cancer came through a couple times.
Oh.
And so we were just curious because, you know,
well,
we didn't talk
actually,
about that.
So she had a mass in her esophagus, but she didn't want to go through with getting it tested. So we actually don't know what the mass was, but she had some sort of mass in her, I think it was esophagus or somewhere in her chest. So.
Okay, so then that's probably what that was that came through, because Taya said to me, do you know what her Nana died of, which I didn't. We didn't talk about that. So Taya really wanted me to follow up with you and ask that, because she felt very strongly that was a legit word that came through that we need to follow up on.
Because she didn't want to go through with the testing. She didn't want to do all the hospital stuff. She was done at that point, I believe. So
I can't blame her.
She just didn't want anything. She had already had both legs previously amputated, so she didn't want to do the hospital anymore.
That explains the wheelchair that she showed me then. She was in a wheelchair at the end? Yeah. Okay. So then when we were in the house, there was Harry and John also came through, which, again, you didn't tell me these names.
Nope.
Harry was a little bit more forthcoming in letting me know that he was Eva's husband and Janice's father. And you let me know that John was actually one of her brothers.
Yes, so I actually took a screenshot when you messaged me all that to be like, Mom, you got to see this. Yeah. So I messaged her and she said, John's actually my Nana's brother.
Okay.
So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And we didn't know her Nana's name either, but I'm going to show you some footage, and it's pretty crazy. She told us her name was Janice. So we were sitting in your son's room, and it came through on the spirit box several times and very persistent. I think she was actually getting annoyed. because we weren't acknowledging it and figuring it out right away.
Yeah.
But does that sound like her?
Yeah. That definitely sounds like her.
And yeah, she came through and she said Janice, and it was clearly a female's voice, and it sounded like there was a little bit of an accent. Did your grandma have an accent?
Yeah, she was born in England, so she still had a bit of a an accent when she talked. It wasn't very strong, but you could hear it on certain words.
Okay, yeah, because I did pick up on a British accent, so I wanted to ask you about that as well. And then I said, who is Janice? And it came through and it said, Grandma. Yeah. And that's when I messaged you. I said, was your Nana's name Janice? Yeah. And that's why, because we wanted to confirm, like, is this her? Yeah. So those are the people that came through. Again, Eva, John, and Harry were very much just kind of on the sidelines observing. And what I got from them was they were waiting for her to be ready. Okay. So we're going to get into some of the messages that your family wants you to share with the rest of your family. Okay. After we look at this. Okay. And up to you whether you want everybody to hear that or not. That's fine. The whole time we were in here, there was a male spirit here who's not a relation of yours. Okay. This is somebody who's tagged along, and he's not a nice person. Okay. And he was kind of hanging out when we were doing the interview. So would that make sense of the night terror? Yes, he's the one, and I got angry with everything. Couldn't get a name. Yep. I was really pushing for a name. There was a lot of spirits in the house. Nobody would give me a name. It's almost like they were trying to steer clear of that. Yep. Like they didn't want to get involved with this other entity. Yeah. So would that make sense of like when we were downstairs, you said my great grandpa was there protecting him? That's why your family, and that's why your other great grandpa on your dad's side hangs around. He's almost like he's passed on. Yeah, he passed away in 2000. Yeah, so. And he's done all of his work on the other side and all that kind of stuff. So that makes sense if it was that long ago. But they're allowed to come back, and you know they're always connected to their family. Even still on the living plane, right? And there's a connection between him and Hendrix. Yeah. And because all this was going on, he's been hanging out and he's not here now. Yeah. Like he's been hanging out because he's been concerned about this guy. Yeah. And so he's kind of been like the guardian angel over Hendrix and it's Hendrix, it's not the baby. Oh, wow. Yeah, so we went into it thinking it was the baby. Yeah. I think that there definitely was what we talked about, where your Nana was able to use that interaction with the unborn child as a way to stay. Yeah. But the problem isn't with the baby. It's that thing that's was attached to your son. Oh, wow. So that was really clear when we went through the investigation that's what it was. Wow. Because that negative spirit that was here, that was causing the problems for the kids and the attacks attached to Hendrix, is a weak spirit. I called him out like I wasn't very nice, and like I tried to antagonize him and do something to me and show me different. And, like he was actually quite a weak spirit, and he was a coward. So that's probably why it started happening once Brandon left, is because he was fueling my fire of me being weak and scared, and that's being exactly by myself. What I said. As I said, you're picking on her because she's scared. You're picking on the kids because they're vulnerable. And then when people show up that aren't scared of you, now you're hiding. Yeah. Right. And that's exactly what it was. Yeah.
I think we should move across to the baby's room.
Listen to this. This is really
cool. Oh, I got these ones. What's your name? Sarah. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
So that pink rabbit in the corner, my best friend Sarah bought for Natalie.
There you go.
And
That's
it's-
connection
and
to the. Okay, hold on. Let's get that on camera a little bit better here. Okay, so the
Oh,
name.
I got goosebumps. That's crazy.
So the name Sarah came through on the video. Tell us what you just said.
There's a pink jellycat bunny in the right-hand corner of the bed, and my best friend Sarah bought that for Hadley.
There you go. So the asshole does come through here and he says something. Like I said, there's disturbing stuff.
Can you speak to us?
That's pretty clear, right?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Take a picture. I want to take a video.
Oh, they're red.
11.4.
And I got it.
Yeah.
And it was sitting on
I got
zero.
8.3.
Most of the other night, unless we're getting stored activity in
Look at
there.
it now.
You saw when we were here interviewing.
You should.
it was
Yeah.
like-
It likes
yeah.
this, this spot. This is,
So an 11.4.
wonder if this is where the little guy sits.
That's high.
Yeah, because
Not
he
the
sits
highest
in
I've
that
ever
lounger
gone.
chair.
Yeah,
but it's-
like that was his go-to.
Wow.
We should have gone
That's a
like
really big. Your grandma, your Nana, was having a hard time moving on.
Yeah.
She never crossed over.
Okay.
So part of the reason why, the big part of the reason why you've had a lot of spirit activity in the house is because of that and that attachment that we talked about.
Yeah.
And because she has a lot of family hanging around trying to get her to move on.
Yeah.
So Harry, Eva, and John are the three prevalent ones, but there's other ones that, you know, flip in and out,
Yeah.
trying to get her to move on.
Okay.
She has some regrets. I think that we helped her work past those. And I do believe she has moved on
Okay.
with her family.
Good.
Which is what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's not saying that she can't come back like your great grandpa did.
Yeah.
And come and visit the family and stuff, but she needed to make that transition and she's got some work to do on the other side.
Yeah.
That she needs to do.
Yeah.
And once she gets to that point where she's in that place she needs to be and she's done that work, then she can come back and she can visit and she can watch and check in on you guys.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was making sure that she understood and she felt comfortable with knowing that the messages that she felt she needed to convey were going to be communicated to you and your family.
Okay.
So that she could move on. So, you know, we're in contact with you, so you're kind of going to be the family advocate to make sure that this message gets to everybody else.
Okay.
Because it's really important that it does.
Okay.
I think that, you know, for her, it was a bigger deal than probably everybody else felt that it was.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that can, you know, our guilt keeps us from being able to
Yeah.
go where we need to go.
Just out of curiosity, so for telling family, like, I'm gonna go to my mom's house tonight, I'm gonna tell her, but like, her sister lives here, and then the rest of her family is in the UK. Should I be contacting them to let them know this as well? Or more or less just like my mom and my auntie Sylvia, because those were the two that were there that day. Like, my auntie, like, missed her passing by 5 minutes. She was on the way there.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just
Don't
want to
tell
make
me
sure.
anymore.
Okay.
Because I want you to be able to. It's important that, like, I know it's real.
Yeah.
And I know I talked to her.
Yeah.
But it's important that your family knows.
Yeah.
And that your family believes it.
Okay.
So there's stuff that she's come across and told me that I wouldn't otherwise know unless I was talking to her.
Okay.
And that's the important stuff, because that makes the skeptics take pause and be like, you know what, there's something maybe to this.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Otherwise, they're gonna they're not gonna take the message seriously.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Okay.
there's a lot of quacks out there. I mean, let's be honest, there is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but she felt guilty for some of the relationships that she felt should have been stronger in her life that weren't.
Mm-hmm.
For a bunch of different reasons. Right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into that on camera. That's personal to your family.
Yeah.
But we talked about one of them.
Yeah.
The other one was around the second husband's step family a little bit.
Okay.
There's some people in the family that, I'm not going to name names, that feel like a lot of the attention and the focus was on them rather than on her blood relatives.
Yep.
And that created some areas of contention there.
Yep.
And she feels bad about that. And she wants everybody to know that she loved them all equally. And it was nothing like that at all whatsoever. And that is very upsetting to her. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Whew. That just is so, like, you just explained everything there.
Yeah. It was really hard for her.
Oh my gosh.
I get all the emotions too.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
It was really hard for her that her family felt that way because she had such a big heart and she loved everybody. And she felt a lot of what kept her away from some of those relationships was she didn't feel like she was welcome there.
Yeah.
She felt like there was things that happened and there was barriers in place in those relationships that kept her from feeling comfortable to reach out sometimes.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that she didn't love them. She loves her family.
Yeah.
So much. She was always about the big family dinners and the get-togethers and you know, bringing everybody together and being that life of the party and trying to be that glue for the family. And,
Yeah.
you know, like...
That happened lots when I was young.
She told me to
But
tell
not
your mom,
older.
Leslie. Mom's name's Leslie,
Yep.
right? You never told me that.
Nope.
She told me to tell your mom, Leslie, that it's her turn to make the pie now.
Okay.
At Christmas time on Boxing Day.
Okay.
It's her turn to make the pie. She needs to pick
All
that
right.
up now that Nana's gone.
Okay.
That's important.
All
I
right.
don't know why, but that's
Um,
important.
That's actually funny. When she passed, we were all talking about how Nana made the best pie. When she passed.
So that's just more validation, right? Why would I know that?
Yeah.
She was so grateful to her friends. She had a group of friends at the end that she was really close to.
She did. They had a warming for her after they
And she was
passed.
there. And so you need to make sure you let them know that.
Okay.
She looked at them like they were family too.
Yeah, they were her smoking buddies.
Yeah. Probably not the best influence for her.
No, but
considering-
they were her smoking
Yeah.
buddies. They always smoked together down in front of Meadowlands there.
Yeah. So let them know too, if you have an opportunity to talk to any of them, that she was there and she's grateful for that. That
Okay.
They did that for her.
So, yeah.
Because they were such an important part of her life at the end.
Yes.
And were really important to her.
Yeah.
And made that whole transition from having to be in a home and out of her own home that much easier. Because that wasn't easy for her.
No.
Right? Like that was really hard for her to do
Yeah.
that. I mean, there was reasons she needed to. She needed more care that she couldn't get at home.
Yeah.
It wasn't safe for her to be at home anymore.
No.
But it's never an easy thing for anybody when we get to that stage of life to make that transition.
Yeah.
So the fact that she had friends there, and she keeps showing me this lady, and I don't know who it is, who was in the home, who was somebody she knew before that was in the home that she reconnected with.
Okay.
I don't know a name. I can't get a name. But she mentioned that.
Okay.
So talk to your mom about that.
Yeah.
And she had a specific message for you.
Okay.
Although I think you're a believer anyways.
Yes,
But she wanted to
definitely.
make sure. She shows me these weird wings that like they're kind of like a hybrid between angel wings and butterfly wings, and they're all colorful.
Oh.
And then she said, it's something you said at her memorial.
Oh my gosh, it's the poem my mom picked for me to read at the funeral.
Okay. So she just wants you to know that she wants to thank you for getting up there and doing that for her memorial, and just to validate to you that it's her that is sending this message to you and your family.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% believe ya. So
Okay.
that is crazy. Like, that is so crazy. Like, at first I was like, I want to see like what I'm gonna get, and then you messaged me with the names, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm full on, I am in this, and I 100% believe it. Like, I was like, where else would you have got these names? Because
Yeah.
I didn't even know these names. And like, when my Nana passed, that was the first time I had ever heard of Eva, and that was my mom's,
Yeah.
or my Nana's mom. So that was really the first time I'd ever even seen a picture of her, was in my Nana and my first granddad, their wedding album. So, that's crazy.
It's really important to her that you guys keep those relationships with that step family of hers.
Okay.
Don't let that go by the wayside. It's really important to her that you guys stay in touch. Okay, make
Okay.
sure the family knows that.
All right.
She plays a lot, you know the song Come Together by the Beatles?
Yep.
That's what she was playing for me.
Really?
Yeah, in my head. So like, there's some connection with her and the Beatles.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my mom about
Like,
that.
she comes across like she actually like, not like at a concert or anything, but like she actually might have actually met them at one point in time.
Well, maybe.
And she plays that song Come Together by the Beatles because she wants you guys
To
to come together as a family and to know that, you know, what I said about how she loves everybody, and please don't hold that in your guys' hearts, because that wasn't the case whatsoever, and
Yeah.
she regrets not making that more clear in life.
Wow. Okay.
And she's really disappointed that she wasn't able to hold on long enough to see the baby.
Yeah.
Because when your mom told her about that it was going to be a girl, she was really excited about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, she sure was.
Right? And so she really wanted, the fact that she just missed it by that much, she really wanted to meet that little girl, but she did end up meeting her, right?
Yeah.
She was just already past when she met her.
You met her,
But she
yeah.
has met her. And that was one of the other reasons why when she first passed in March that she didn't want to move on yet.
Yeah. And that
Because
makes
she wanted
sense.
to meet the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is so crazy.
She also shows me like a ring of keys, and she's like doing this with it. I don't know what that means. Something about keys.
I have no idea. I'll have to ask my mom that as well.
Yeah. So if you can ask her, but it's just something she was showing me like a couple times, like this ring of keys. It always looked like old-fashioned keys, and she was just like this with it and like messing with the keys. So I don't know what that means.
They used to own a butcher shop in England, so I don't know if maybe that has something to do with it.
But she did come across as being like kind of an entrepreneurial type. So
Yeah.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, she worked for the school district and then worked for somebody where else I can't quite remember, but
Do you have any questions?
no, I don't. That was crazy. Did she bring up like anything about like Penny or any of them for messages or anything for them, or was
Penny?
that? Yeah.
That came through on the obelisk on Saturday night, but I didn't know what that was.
Penny is her stepdaughter.
Okay. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Okay.